Part 2. So, I'm not quite sure where I left off. I grew up Catholic, I will say that, until my dad passed away. And then I kind of felt like the church didn't really reach out to us and help us. So I literally walked away from the church because I didn't feel comfortable there anymore, and because life was tough as a 15-year-old, almost 16-year-old when my dad died. And I was 16 when he died. But at that point, I actually couldn't drive into our driveway because he was found in our driveway. And so I went and stayed with my girlfriend, Kathy, and her family for the summer anyways. My dad died in June. And then after I was getting ready for school to start, I did go back home and started my senior year at North St. Paul. I only had to go till December because I had enough credits to graduate. I went for 4 hours. I think it was 4 hours. It might have been less. I had 3 classes that I took. And then I went to school out at Century and became a CNA because it was only like a 2-week class, so I could work. And so that was my early years. And then my mom moved into an apartment, and my sister started getting in trouble. She was 12 when my dad died. She had a sister 14 and a sister 12. My 12-year-old sister Kim, who is now gone, started getting into trouble, didn't go to school, would skip out on school. She ended up in treatment and in juvie for being absent from school so much. And don't get me wrong, I love my sister dearly. I still do, even though she's not here. But there was a lot of issues with us. My mom would leave me to watch her, and then I would have to drive over and pick my mom up from work because she was still working. And my mom was getting drunk. And I mean, I get it because my dad had passed away, but it was tough because I was 16. But I was the only legal driver in the house as well. So it was hard. So I started doing stuff I shouldn't have. I started doing, stupid stuff like shoplifting. I didn't get caught. I never went to jail or went even to the police station because I wasn't stealing like the stuff they steal today. I would go in and steal a candy bar, a chapstick. Yes, it was still stealing, and I will say that, but it was just one of those. I needed to keep myself occupied, I think, more so than anything else. I was out all the time. I'd drop my mom off at work, I'd go to school, I'd come home, I'd pick her up from work, I'd go home and drop her off, and then I'd go hang out and do stupid stuff. I was working. I worked the weekends mostly because I was in school. So I would work the night shift on Friday and Saturday nights because I liked the night shift. Don't ask me why, but I did. And then I decided that I needed a break from everything and everybody. So I literally went to work for the Great Wallendas. Yes, they are great. Carla took me under her wing, and I knew both Rick, Mario, I knew Carl before he passed away. I learned how to do Roman ladders, the moon, do tricks up in the air. I also learned how to walk the wire. And yes, it was an invigorating, challenging time in my life. When I came back to Minnesota after working for Carla for a year, my mom had moved and we were now living in St. Paul, right off Rice Street. So in the hood. I had lots of friends there though, and I went to work as a bartender, and I also went to work as a CNA. So I was working 2 jobs. And then something terrible happened, and I will just say that it's changed the way I looked at things and people. I was attacked, raped, and scared at that point because I didn't know what was going to happen, whether he was going to let me go or kill me. It is one of the scariest feelings, and I feel for those that have been through that. Do I always believe someone when they cry rape? No. Why? Because there's a certain, you can tell if someone has been raped and injured and is scared for their life. They have a different persona that they give out. I know I did, because I basically looked like I was scared at every sound, at every car door, at every time the apartment doors opened. It scared the crap out of me. And so yes, I can usually get a good read. Not saying that I'm not wrong sometimes, because I know people deal with stuff differently. But after that happened, I decided I needed to gain some confidence in myself again, and I had been dating a gentleman that I really liked, and we were not having any kind of sexual relations because he did not believe in premarital sex. And I decided I was going to go down and talk to the recruiters. So at that time, I think I was 18, maybe close to 19. I had my sister, Kim, who happened to be pregnant with her first child, Kayleen, and I took her with, and I said, no matter what happens, do not let me sign anything. All I want to do is find out right now, and then I will decide what I'm gonna do. My dad was in the Army. I had relatives in the Army. I also had a relative in the Marine Corps. So on to part 3.